one more time here for the St. Clair Saints to try and get themselves a little bit further up these rankings here in this PlayVS Trios playoff finals. Of course, my name's Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, here one final time for possibly the entire season if there's nothing going on during the summer. And of course, have Laysix, Ciriuhs, and Juneyy ready to rock here, going towards their usual location. And it's always going to be determination. Let's see, what kind of landings are we going to be getting? Everybody, as the Saints, might be pretty much left by them lonesome. Looks like the Burbs are getting a little bit heated to start things off once again here. Possibly the same old song and dance here with a couple of these teams. Dr. Duke on the side, or Dr. Duke and his team here from Ashland, ready to try and maybe find themselves a couple of eliminations here on Jake, Camp Denny, and Rocket Man. Rocket Man did okay in the last one, finding himself a couple of eliminations, and in fact, he is going for it once again. Gets himself hurt pretty badly, however. Jake gets hit up pretty badly as well from below, and this is not looking very good. Jake is going to fall, and he is going to get completely eliminated. His season is done. Rocket Man is done. Can Camp Denny somehow turn this one around? I think he just needs to try and run for the hills and just try to survive, especially now that everybody is down and out. He has a relatively decent arsenal. If he could pop that potion, he can definitely fight. But can he fight versus 3? I really don't think he can do so. Does get lit up ever so slightly. Shotgun in hand. It's only going to be a matter of time. One more shot. So Rocket Man and the rest of the squad, their season is over. So good night to Clemson. And what a start here for Ashland to get themselves one final push into this game. Over in the left-hand side there, those green arrows you see, those will be our Saints here for this final matchup here. But they do look relatively uncontested, so going to let them be for the time being and go looking for maybe some additional engagements. We could possibly have ourselves a couple, especially a close one here. Once again, Holly Hedge has been a back-and-forth battle pretty much this entire season. Or session, rather, not necessarily the season. I'd argue that it was actually rather quiet during the majority of the season, but especially since Miami started making their way over here, try and contest UCLA. It has not gone into the favor of UCLA at all, and it's been really solid overall for Miami University of Ohio. So you see them battling well. That's going to be Humar getting blasted a little bit here. Or Womar, rather. Steve Gremlin going to take care of one. That's going to be one for Miami University of Ohio. Picking that one up nice and quickly. Complex looking for more. Gremlin on the hunt. It's a matter of dealing with Boomer, and I believe there's one other nearby. Right by Gremlin. His ass is right there, and if he's not careful, he's going to check it with his shoulder. He's going to find him. He realizes he has no shield. One more shot, and Zas will be toast. I like Steve's hanging on for just a second, though. Doesn't want to just charge in there blindly, and that will be Zas going on down, and then Boomer gets taken down by Ideal. A huge play here once again from Miami University of Ohio, getting UCLA to pack it up. Your night is over. Any other battles nearby here on the map? We do seem to have something pretty far down to the south, where Heights, Kubawabi, and Coach. Not seeing these guys very often here today. And they're going up against X-Roy. Coach does get taken down. It's going to be Iconic and his crew, and that is the Ontario Tech University squad. And GVU, like fair enough, Grand Valley University, going to make a run for the hills. One final player to try and keep their team in the game. So far, all's quiet still for the Saints. Another possible battle down to the south side of things. Sage Dippin' Tripod here from the Sal Virginia University. And then right by them, trying to see who they're going to battle with, actually. I think that's York, but I could totally be wrong here. Does seem to quiet down for at least a second here. T. Jones. Okay, so it's actually the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee that they're going up against, but it is just kind of a high ground standoff. Now, our Saints have moved over, and I think they have a little bit of space to work with now. Let's take a look at the arsenal check. So we do have, of course, the Purple Scar going to be on Laysix once again, alongside a good shotgun, harpoon, and a little bit of healing. Meanwhile, Ciriuhs, he found himself the Gold Scar. That's always awesome here for him. Considering he was trying to rock with, I believe, a green one, like an uncommon one compared to a legendary. That is an absolute upgrade. Loaded up on healing supplies as well. Juneyy is pretty well loaded as well. A little bit of utility for everything, I guess you can say the least. As for the storm location, however, for this game, it is not going to necessarily do the Saints any favors, but I feel like they like it better when it is this kind of situation. Anytime the storm has been pretty much right next to them, it's had a mixed bag of results, to say the least. But when it's a little bit further, it's a little bit more interesting, to say the least, here for them. Let's take a look at this battle over here with the fishing crew and Arrow to see what is going on in this section. Have ourselves 3 teams or so in the midst of battle. Of course, the fishing crew coming off of a victory last time. That's, of course, Texas A&M. Could be Sedge and Empty. University of Western Ontario. And then your first seeds here. At the beginning of the day, however, they've basically been, I feel like, a non-factor for the most part here in this series. That, of course, being the Wayne County Community College. It's a bit of a standoff, nobody actually getting jumped on, so we'll hop on back here with our Saints, who might be just about to get into the swing of things here. Let's see what is going on with them. Trying to dodge some fire with 2 of them having vehicles. It's going to be Ciriuhs and Laysix in the one, Juneyy trailing behind. Supply crate in front of them, however, I'm sure they'll notice that there is a sniper tower basically right in front of them. They want to think twice about going after that one. I mean, they think twice and they opt to go for it anyway. Going for broke, I like it. With the supply crate down, they're going for it. What does it give? A decent chunk of shielding. And then a purple scar. However, they already have at least a purple scar anyway, so not necessarily a weapon arsenal upgrade, but they do at least get themselves a little bit of resources for some refreshments. Possible collision course as we get ready to go into the safe zone. Who is this here? It's going to be Pluffer, and it's Alfie and their teammate there, Mecca. So that is going to be from the side of the University of Texas Arlington. Looking to take a battle here with the Saints right here on the bridge. Cut off our pathway. However, they kind of left themselves a bit of a sitting duck. Unfortunately, their Ciriuhs could not quite make contact with the player. definitely unfortunately there for Shift. It looks like he took himself out somehow. Hate to do that on the last game of the playoffs. Hopefully one of his teammates is still there in a position to possibly bring him back up. But this 6th game is another one of those games that's gotten guns blazing. As the night has gone on, it seems like people's patience have left them for the most part. People are dropping in, they're trying to make challenging plays, trying to like really spike their positioning off of eliminations, and for some people it's working fantastic. I know like for the Miami University of Ohio, it is absolutely paid off for them in these last couple of games. However, for some it's just been an absolute nightmare. I'll tell you what though, the Saints, they do have themselves in a pretty solid position overall. Free camera is not going to be my friend here today once again, so we're going to quickly hop on over. See what else is going down here. Laysix was in the midst of taking some shots as we switched over. There we go. Few more shots fired, but what on earth is happening up here with a Jelly and crew? Just around the bend. See if we can find our Saints in this position as well. Do see Arlington down there. There's a Lee Connor as well. Bay State. One of the few teams that, or maybe the only team, that can actually contest the leaders if the leaders do end up dying. And where are our Saints in this position? They're on the high ground, however, they are definitely kind of being overseen here by as many teams as possible. It seems like Juneyy and Laysix going to hide out in the back. Ciriuhs hanging out in the front, it looks like. All the way up on the hill, even more teams ready and waiting with their forts good to go. Pinocchio to Crispy and Smarty, a team I haven't necessarily talked about a whole heck of a lot here in this game. Hopping along with the Miami University of Ohio for just a second, noticing that they were still kind of stuck in the storm after this whole time, but gonna make their way in here. Already have 4 eliminations on the board as well. Iconic finding the last Grand Valley member, taking them down. And these right now are your leaders. So Stendo, Hush, and Pozic, they've had, I think, 2 victory royales so far here in this session. Just been extremely consistent the whole time. No eliminations as of yet, but of course it's still extremely early. They don't have to find the eliminations right here, right now, if they don't want to. And honestly, with how far ahead they were, like they're at 338 at this point. The next closest was at like 255, so in a fantastic position to take this one home. Just needs to finish this game off strong. Let's check back in here on our Saints squads. Saints are still split up, but they're not necessarily getting pushed or anything, so no harm, no foul, I suppose, in this situation. Pretty close to catching back up with everybody now, so not bad in that regard. Now, actually, hang on a minute here. I was just talking a big game about Stendo and the North Virginia Community College squad, but Stendo did just get dropped. King took him down, so unless somebody can pick him up, that would be your leaders down a player. The Wayne County Community College squad too, of course, the first seeds from, I think, this entire event technically, based off of their score from the playoff heats on Monday. I think they're completely eliminated now at this point. And of course, the University of Tennessee Knoxville doing a solid job for themselves as well. Some good shots here, actually, from King. Again, we've seen this guy time and time again here in this series, alongside Wilgo, just have such strong gun skill when the opportunity does finally find itself. Of course, Fortnite, picking your spots is always difficult. However, when you finally have the spot and you go for it, how do you convert? Are you successful with it? And I'll tell you what, King and Wilgo have definitely been doing a very good job overall. Stendo got knocked down, however, he is back up and in the game, so your leader's still pretty much completely full strength, with the exception of a little bit of damage onto Posic, but at the same time, looking at their arsenal, they're not doing too bad. They do have a little bit of resources available, not necessarily the best case situation here for them, but they're not doing bad in the slightest. Now, I'll tell you what, Saints are actually in a pretty solid spot right here. The Storm moves to the point where Ciriuhs, Laysix, and Juneyy are all in the dead center of this, and don't have to necessarily worry about moving per se. However, when they do have to move, they're going to have to deal with that, and it is going to be difficult to say the least. Well, the Saints are just kind of peeking around. We're going to go for a little bit of a perimeter check here and see what is going on around the safe zone. Who's trying to creep on in and who's having a hard time. It's Seb and Empty in this building here trying to hang on tight, but they are in the midst of pressuring a team over here. Two teams, actually. Kepler and Meefy and Stemps and Lucky. Bit of a 2-on-2-on-2 as of right now. King gonna find himself another Lufker as well for the side of Arlington. Yeah, gonna take him down. University of Wisconsin-Madison alongside, where's Meepy from again? From the University of Central Florida. They're gonna have to make their move very, very soon here. Like Brunston, this of course still being Michigan State University, hanging on just on the outskirts. There's Bogo and King right on the outskirts as well, really getting peppered from above. Miami University of Ohio right on the outskirts of this as well. And hang on a second, Ciriuhs, what are you up to? Found himself a pick here. Can he finish it off, however? Laysix is on the hunt. Can they find him? They're going to rush him. I kind of like what I'm seeing here from the Saints. Can they make this one happen? Ciriuhs is going to find one. He's getting smoked off, though. This is a very awkward spot, and Laysix, by diving into the smoke, is going to put himself in for a world of hurt as he does get knocked down, and this is a very awkward spot for anybody to really try and make a push or try and save him. I think this might be the end of his season, unless I think this is Ciriuhs trying to make the sneaky save. They're going to end up losing loot for this, but they are going to keep their player in the game, and if they could keep that first aid pack, they'll be in a perfect spot. Looks like they are going to be able to keep themselves alive. Where's Juneyy in all of this? Just basically trying to keep their fort built and whatnot. However, you can see the Storm is not going to be doing them any favors. University of Maryland coming to play now. Pegs is going to be finding himself a kill here onto Crazy. Saints are all gathered around, but they need to make a move and they need to watch their six. There's going to be a team, technically two teams, I do believe. One team and then one, unless they're two duos, but nearly getting themselves flanked in here, but Laysix is going to find himself a quick snipe onto Googly there from the side of Liberty University. So it's going to be the second point, or second kill rather, on the board here for St. Clair. Can they find Kapler, however? They do spot him out, and that is going to be the finishing blow. Nicely done for Juneyy. Every member of the Saints are going to find themselves on the board for an elimination here in this finale. Ciriuhs finds himself peppered, though. Granted, right in front of Laysix. I like how they just basically kicked him to the side. Tries to keep Ciriuhs alive. Juneyy is going to get completely lit up. It's hanging on by a thread. Does end up going down. Ciriuhs and Juneyy both about to get eliminated. It's going to be all up to Laysix in order to get them to the end here. The Ciriuhs does end up going down. That's going to be Speedy taking him down. Carnegie Mellon, again, just one of those teams just really starting to come into their sweet spot, to say the least. Really starting to find their groove. That's what I'm trying to say. Find their groove near the tail end of these playoffs. To the point where I think they're even in the top 5 at this point. They must be on quite the tear. Again, we're going to get to see how well can Laysix keep himself alive. And kind of like what I was saying in the last game, where we had, or was it your last game or a game or two ago, where we saw Juneyy kind of clutched up there for the Saints to get him into the top 10. Laysix has been in this position a couple of times as well throughout the season. And to be fair, very hit or miss, to say the least. Sometimes we go for a couple last hits and then all of a sudden just find himself surrounded by 3. But there has been times where he's absolutely got the Saints to way further a position where they in theory should have been. To be fair, with the storm getting smaller and smaller here, more and more action is going down, more and more casualties. 12 teams still on the board. Laysix tries to drive by shotgun shot, not going to make contact. However, he tries to find Ranster, not going to be the case. Snowy, knocked down, completely yeets him into the storm. Going to be the finishing blow in that regard. However, that is going to be the only thing he's going to be able to end up getting. It's one more, and I think got the Saints into the top 10 once again. So, props to Laysix. Basically got the team another 8 to 9 positions, I would say. And of course, it's not going to quite work out here for me. Just give me a second as we hop into the last little bit. We get to hop on in and see McComplex get absolutely dunked. And now we're hopping on in to the late game scenario. 9 teams still left in this game. Arrow and the fishing duo here and ready to rock. Speedy, Jelly, and Mackie DeMarco. They took us down, and they're all 3 still here. York University squad here with Bakami and friends. Ready to rock as well. Crispy, the last one alive, tries to find a couple. He does end up going down. However, what's the high ground situation like? We got Exceed, Elite, Connor, Engage. They're basically doing exactly what they need to do. If they could somehow finish this out on top, they'll get the best possible push towards the end. And right now, I do not see our leaders here in this game unless they're hiding on me somewhere. But I don't think they've made it. So this is the best possible situation for Elite Connor and the rest of his squad there for Bay State College. So we rubber band up a little bit here. Looks like fishing duo and Speedy's basically got the best chance in regards to the amount of players they have left. You see 2 on the side of the leaders. There's Exceed, there's Gage. Is there one more? No, I don't think there is. 4 teams left to go. Back and forth here with the fishing squad. Trying to open fire. This is a bit of an awkward spot. We're going to get ourselves into a bit of a bloodbath here, and we're going to trade out basically a 1-for-1. Speedy does go down as well. Dylan is fishing is going down. Derpy is fishing is going down. Down to the final 2 teams. And And that is going to do it. Best possible situation here for Exceed, Gage, and I believe it was, yeah, Elite Connor. Bay State College, your current second place team, I believe, getting themselves the Victory Royale in game number 6. And I do believe that's the leaders at that time, which would have been North Virginia Community College. They died out relatively early into that late game phase. So we're going to take a look and see these final results in just a moment, and we'll get to see exactly how this one ended up turning up here to see our final results for this Play vs. Fortnite season. I'm just going to be pulling it up in just a second, but of course I want to give a couple thank yous before we do. That of course being to the sponsors here for this season. Here for St. Clair in multiple seasons for some of these guys. So big thank you, of course, to St. Clair College, the Zekelman School of Business and Information Technology, Tim Hortons, the St. Clair SRC, St. Clair Alumni Association, and PC Outlet for sponsoring us as long as they have. So thank you all for supporting us here on the St. Clair Saints Varsity Esports team. Big thank you as well to everybody for tuning in and giving Fortnite a chance here. I know sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to try and follow. Try to do my best here to make it as full of background and full of context as possible. And if you enjoyed it, I'm glad that I was able to entertain you here tonight. That being said, let's pull up these results. We'll start from the bottom. And then funny fact is I look away while I'm scrolling too, so it's also a surprise here for me. Okay, I'm gonna pull up my sheet, my compare sheet to see who's all here. Okay, here we go. Starting from the bottom here for these Play vs. Fortnite Trios finals. It is going to be a squad from Clemson University, considering they had themselves a very hard time in this matchup, and then they also had technical difficulties during game 2. Unfortunately, they're going to be the caboose here in this series. Now, I feel like I only seen these guys once this entire series, but that's actually Georgia Tech. They're one of the teams that got in off of the wild card. They were lucky number 16 or lucky number 17 for one of these, and they managed to sneak on in. Got to get into the top 35 of sorts, but they're going to get shut down from the top 30 here in these. Sage, Tripod, and Dip, considering that they're actually not a bad squad, it's very surprising to see South Virginia University get taken down this low here in this series. But it's going to be just outside the top 30. One of our rivals from our heat last time on Monday, going to be 29 Swerves in the Concordia University Wisconsin squad. Coming up a little bit short here, 71 points. Gets themselves into the top 30, but that's about it. 29 Brawlike Bruston, Hunter, and Woody. These guys, I believe, double checking real quick. Out of Michigan State University. I know they had a technical difficulty during game number 2 where they didn't get to join. But still getting themselves into the top 30. A little bit of a rough time, but still, they made the best out of it. Seb Empty and CJ. University of Western Ontario. Find themselves a bit of a hard time here as well. Getting them to 28th. Liberty University. It just felt like they kept on getting ganked over and over and over again in the north-hand side. They just could not quite find their footing. They get shut down in 27th. The first seeds for the entire event, if you base your results strictly off of the statistics of the Play vs. Playoff heats on Monday, Rotten Tomatoes, Sleestron, and Zephyx from Wayne County Community College really underperforming. Lucky McCorn Stems, they definitely had their moments, but a lot of the times it felt like they were the ones getting ganked. And they end up going down here in 25th. Those are the players out of University of Wisconsin-Madison. Womar, Boomer, and Zas, they're having themselves a good couple of rounds. Then all of a sudden, Miami University of Ohio kind of changed their strategy and dropped in on them, and it felt like they lost that battle more often than not. Going to find themselves in the top 25, but going to come up short a little bit in 24th. Grand Valley University, they're going to find themselves in 23rd, considering I think they lost a game due to a technical difficulty as well. Getting into the 23rd position, considering, not bad. Dr. Duke, Big Riv, this is the players out of Ashland. They're going to find themselves in 22nd. Bit of a streaky squad. Either they went in guns blazing or it just felt like they kind of fell short. Plufker and the guys from University of Texas Arlington going to find yourselves in 21st. Snowy, Hinsey, and T. Jones find themselves with a very quiet series, but yet they still manage to get themselves into the top 20. Those players out of, let's see real quick. That's the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Control Harsh and King are another one of those teams that was rather quiet but still rather consistent nonetheless. Johns Hopkins University find themselves in 19th. Iconic, Crazy, and Royal Pain going to be out of Ontario Tech University, going down in 18th. Parker, Ranster, and Twin. Mount Vernon Nazarene University. I feel like I didn't say that name all day. However, definitely seen these guys kind of hanging around the end game, and they would make do and got themselves in the 17th. Cheater Agent, Faci, and Tab. Let's see if I can find them real quick. Out of McMaster. Gonna be just in the middle. Or essentially in the middle there, in 16th. Stinky Farts, Berkey, and Doinks. Temple University, 15th. And here's the hometown crowd. Ciriuhs, Juneyy, and Laysix out of St. Clair College going to get themselves above 15th. In fact, getting themselves into the 14th position. Their streaky style finally started to kind of even out a little bit at the end, right when they needed to. Break themselves into the top half, and 14 is a fantastic finish, my friends. Congratulations on your finish. Fantastic season. Oh god, we just slipped up a little bit, didn't we? That's gonna be cut. Sergeant Sash and Crater going to be number 13th. And they are out of the University of Akron. Congratulations, Akron. To Crispy, Pinocchio, and Smarty. Out of the University of Delaware, gonna be in 12th. Check-ins Eagle and Siphon. University of Houston get themselves just outside the top 10 in 11th. Kapler, Meatbee, and Toastiest Waffles. I would have definitely selected these guys as a top competitor based off of the playoff run on Monday. They're going to get themselves into 10th position overall. Congratulations to the University of Central Florida. The Fishing Duo and Arrow CK, of course. Texas A&M found themselves one victory royale here tonight, but could not quite push it any further than 9th place, but still a fantastic run in its own right. And then, so one of our landing buddies of sorts, just on Sweaty Sands. Of course, that is going to be Bogo, Cooler Gamer, and King. Of course, I was getting King props for his gunplay all night because he was just absolutely killing it. That's from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Congratulations. X-Gross, Swayward, especially Swayward. I feel like he's had himself so many eliminations here today. And their average of limbs being in this, like, about 5 is definitely strong in its own right. And that is Butler University, taking 7th. Okami, Swim Coach Monkey, and Joskilla taking themselves into that 6th place position. Congratulations to York University. Ideal Play McComplex and Steve Gremlin out of Miami University of Ohio. That switch and landing spot was definitely wise, considering they were fighting with one of the top guys constantly throughout this, or top teams rather, out of this entire series. And making that switch really kept them in the game and gave them a lot of eliminations. Smartly played, nicely done there, Miami University of Ohio. Bags, Mars, and Seven definitely was going to be my pick for one of the top teams here tonight out of the University of Maryland. Kept shutting us down. They absolutely killed it during the playoff heats as well on Monday. But they come up short ever so slightly with a fantastic fourth place finish. However, I know they wanted more. Jelly, Mackle, and Speedy, basically out of nowhere, just started absolutely tearing it up about halfway through. And Carnegie Mellon University going to get third place. The runners up here tonight, Elite Connor, Exceed, and Gage. It's going to be Bay State College. Congratulations on the runner-up. But of course, your winner and champions here of the PlayVS Fortnite Trios season is going to be Stendo, Hush, and Pozic out of North Virginia Community College. Congratulations. And with that rundown, that is going to conclude not only the PlayVS Fortnite Trios playoffs, but that's also going to conclude every regular season and playoff game that we have here this season for the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team. It's been an absolute insane season. I think we've done some like 170 different broadcasts, not including the ones that end up being forfeits. And it's just been an overall fantastic season. And I'm glad to have been able to share as many experiences, as many of these matches with you as possible. And I want to give a big thank you, of course, to the Fortnite players as well here. Excuse me, Ciriuhs, Laysix, Juneyy, King, everybody for another fantastic season, whether it be solos, duos, or trios, regardless of what you're playing. You guys always pushed it, so congratulations to yous, and then congratulations and give props to every St. Clair College squad, St. Clair varsity esports team for a fantastic season. Thank you so much for working with me as well to make sure we can get all these matches broadcasted. And this is basically my final broadcast as technically as a work-study student, which means I'm moving on, no longer a student and whatnot. However, the good news is you're not done, I'm not done with you guys just yet. I'll see you in the next season as well, and looking forward to bringing you more and more action here for hopefully years to come here on the St. Clair Saints varsity esports team. But with that, we will be closing out after one final shout out. Of course, we gave the sponsors a big thank you earlier as well, but one more time actually. Thank you, St. Clair College, the Zuckman School of Business and Information Technology, PC Outlet, St. Clair's SRC, the St. Clair College Alumni Association, and Tim Hortons. Thank you everybody for tuning in to the broadcast as well one more time. It'd be pointless for me to do this without you, or not pointless, but it wouldn't be as awesome to do this without you guys. So thank you all. And last but not least, thank you, I suppose, or thank you to Chels for keeping track of Jace for me while I'm constantly working these desks. With that, I shall stop rambling, and we shall close on out. So unless there is a midsummer tournament, or there's another special event happening here on the Saints Gaming CA channel, my name is Dan Banner, also known as Mr. Danners, and I'll catch you on the next one.